As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm here to tell you today that it's okay to stand up for what is right. I know a lot of brothers and sisters out there are all like, oh, I can't stand up to my elders, I can't stand up to my parents. We should show our elders and parents respect. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You know, you need to show your parents and your elders respect. But if they're urging you to badness, if they're urging you to sin, say no. If they're urging you to do something that you know is wrong, say no. You have a right to say no. You know, there are Muslims out there, girls and boys, who are effectively being forced to marry people. You have a right to say no. You don't have to say yes. You know, if they force you to marry someone, they are forcing you to do things you don't want to do. You know, it's okay to say yes for things, you know, if your parents ask you, but you have the choice to say no. So, with our elders, we love them and respect them, but please show that you are willing to say no if you know the thing is wrong, if you know it's something that you don't want to do. Because it's better that you say no and stand your ground now than you spend the rest of your life having regretted that moment when you said yes. You know, if your parents are trying to get you with somebody and you hate that person, you know, or their attitude disgusts you, you have the right to just say, no, I don't want to marry this person. You know, it is important that you bond with your spouse, you know, that there's a connection there. Because if it's someone you hate, you know, you're going to spend the rest of your life hating that person if you can't get over your feelings towards that person. And you're going to spend the rest of your life resenting your parents. And that is far worse than standing your ground. You know, if you spent a lifetime resenting your parents for the one thing that they made you do, it's way worse than spending a few months standing your ground and saying no. Because it's more important. You know, and if you ever have trouble with this, remember two prophets. Firstly, Ibrahim, peace be upon him. His father at one point said to him, come on, you got to stop this nonsense, son. You got to stop this nonsense. You know, you got to stop bad-mouthing these statues that we worship. You got to stop the nonsense. Come on, start worshipping these statues. Get down on your knees. Ibrahim, peace be upon him, wasn't like, okay, father, do what you say. No, he stood his ground. He knew what was right and wrong. He said, no, I will not engage in sin. I will not engage in badness. And I will remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to my last day. Well, I don't know if he said all those things, but something to that effect, right? I wasn't there. There's not a lot of us who were there. And by not a lot, I mean none, because we're probably all dead, who were there at that time, right? So, Ibrahim, peace be upon him, at least stood his ground. He knew what was right and wrong. Think about this. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they came to him, the Quraysh came to him and said, man, you got to stop this nonsense. You got to stop it, otherwise it'll take a beating to you. We'll take a chumple to your head. It's not a chumple that they were saying. They were taking a sword, man. They were all like, you know, ready to slash tastic on people. You know, they're like saying those kind of things. You know, this were his elders. You know, people who are older than him, you know, who Muhammad, peace be upon him, would have respected because they were high up in the rank of that time. And if Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood his ground and said, I know what is right, he knew what was goodness, he knew how to avoid sin, and he knew that if he didn't stand his ground now, he would never be able to meet his Maker. So Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood his ground. He didn't let badness overtake him. He didn't let cowardice overtake him. No, because he knew what was right. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was one of the bravest souls ever. He didn't let cowardice overtake him ever. He knew what was goodness. He knew what was right, and he stood up for it. So I'm urging you, Ummah of Islam, when badness comes to you, if people who you respect come and say, hey, just engage in some sin. Come with me and engage in sin. Stand your ground and say, damn no. Hell to the no. I'm going to stand here and engage in goodness. I'm going to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember your Maker, remember your Rabbul Alameen, and come to goodness. Come to goodness.